and it's okay to feel sad sometimes, and there's no shame in that. We're allowed to not be happy 24/7. For example, the song that I haven't released yet that I'm going to be singing on the 26th of February.
Buy your tickets. I like
It's
it.
all about sort of embracing your inner freak and not caring what people think and just being a bit weird and wonderful. And
Ladies and gentlemen, new year, same show. We are bringing you all the wonderful independent artists, and today we have a superstar, a queen from Yorkshire, all the way from Hull. We have a lady that her emotional connection through her singing makes the crowd go wow. She tells her story as she continues to sing in great melodies and, of course, portraying herself with great lyrics, and she believes that a song at a time will help the world feel better. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only, Emily Olssen. Yeah! And the crowd is going wild. How are you, girl?
I'm good, but you're making me blush.
No, I mean, what can I say, man? See, I practice these things every now and then. I need to make it good. But no, I'm only saying, exactly what I think you are, who you are. So don't worry. We shall let them know when you tell your story. How's life? How's the new year?
Good, yeah, New Year's good. Busy, but in like a good way. So it's good.
That's a good problem to have. Everybody should have problems, but you should always hope that you have good problems. Typical example of a good problem is, I'm so rich, I don't know where to buy a house. That's a good problem.
That is a good problem.
That's the problem to have. But Korak means footsteps. And it's every step that you're taking, is a step in your journey to where you want to get to or where you see as success. But before we go as far as success, the question is, what is the first step you took that made you believe that music was the way forward?
Honestly, it's a bit weird. I've been writing songs for a really long time, since I can remember, but always as a lot of people do, and you never really think much of it. And it's like, oh yeah, it's all right, but I couldn't do something like that, And I really randomly went to a Post Malone concert because my friend,
Good taste, girl.
Right?
Good taste. I like it.
I actually got a free ticket because someone cancelled last minute on my friend, and she's like, "Come with me." I was like, "All right."
Nice. Very nice. She didn't even need to whisper.
Exactly.
She was like,
It's
come.
great.
She had yet come.
Exactly. I appreciate you for that. But yeah, I went and I watched him do this incredible performance in this show, and I thought to myself, I was like, there's no reason why I couldn't do that, I think it's really easy not to believe in yourself, but then I'm sure all these people that are doing these amazing things, they also had those moments, but they didn't let that get in the way.
Had you never had one of them moments? Because a lot of people, Post Malone is big. If you ever get to see this Post Malone, we'd love to have you at Korak. But Post Malone is big, and a lot of people, it's difficult for them to see themselves in those great heights initially. But you went for probably one of the biggest artists in America, at least, or at least in the world. How was it that you never had any of those moments? You didn't even have any sniff of those, I want to do this for myself, before Post Malone?
I think because I originally was trained in musical theatre, and I thought, oh yeah, stage, West End, that kind of thing. But I always loved music, and it was kind of the balance between, do I go for music or do I go for this theatre? And I always loved dance, so naturally I went more of the theatre route. And as I sort of got older, I sort of started to think and play with the idea that maybe I could try the other route. So I think it never clicked to me how possible it was until I started to really consider it.
So you left the Post Malone show thinking, I want this, and I want this for myself.
Yeah.
So, you say you've been writing music since you were little. You grew up in Hull, right?
I did. That's why I sound a bit rough.
No, it's all right. You sound wonderful. I'm all for the northern accents till you get punched in the face, but it's all wonderful. Hull, what happens in Hull? Dean Winders, that's the only guy I know from Hull, and rugby.
There
So,
you go.
in terms of, how big is the music scene in Hull?
It's not really. It does exist. It's not obviously as big as London, but it is sort of. You have local bands that get a bit of a name for themselves, and they perform at all the pubs and that kind of thing, and people go see them and stuff. So it is good. It's a really nice area for community musicians, and I have a lot of friends who are in sort of that music scene with some bands and stuff and doing things for fun on the weekends. It's a really nice community. It's just not really for me, if you get what I mean.
Oh yeah, 100%. I definitely understand. You find that joy, happiness wherever leads you to where you want to be, I guess. Some people never find it. That's why they travel all around the world. But so you decided music was the way forward. So how did you start? So you left Post Malone show. You were like, this is what I want to do. What then happened?
So from that show, I already had a lot of material, obviously from writing all these songs.
Wait, hold on. You say you've been writing music since you were as far back. What did you used to write, and what did you used to write about? I always find it very interesting when people go. I used to write when I was little. I used to write rubbish, one of them twinkle twinkle little stars and all them. You know, I found very early that music wasn't the way forward. But what did you used to write about? What was because your music now draws from like experiences, you know, situation that's happening, you know, trying to make people feel better. So what were you writing about at the time?
I think a mix between similar stuff to what I'm writing now and stuff that every sort of like teenage girl writes about. I was writing about
I would have
boys and
no
about
idea. Okay, fine. Okay, I have no idea about teenage girl writing, but yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of it was sort of stuff that you would expect to come from like a 13-year-old girl. But then the other side of things is I've struggled with mental health my entire life. And I think I write a lot of things that I'd have always been too scared to say. So like Broken, for example, which is my first song I've ever actually released. That one, I actually wrote a lot of that when I was sort of 15, 16.
No way. You wrote that song when you were 15?
Yeah, not all of it, but a lot
I
of
need
it.
to question my childhood, man. Because at 15, 16, there's no way. So 15, okay, so before we're going to talk about Broken at some point. We do something in Korak as like, you know, diving into the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So you created a song at 15. Let's touch, so when you say you've been struggling with mental health your entire life, do you know, because I believe that with this mental health, which is probably caused by resilience, mental capacity, what were you going through that was kind of making you go through the mental health struggle at that early age?
So I had a lot of anxiety, and I still do, but I've obviously, as I've got older, you'd learn ways to cope with things like that. And I think a lot of it was you overthink a lot when you have anxiety, and that causes a lot of questions about everybody hates me, all this stuff that is, of course, not true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody, to an extent, does have these thoughts. But at times it can feel really overwhelming and really crushing. And I just sort of, if I needed to step away from class or from whatever I was doing, especially at things like school, the music room was sort of like my little escape. I could find like a little corner, I could find a practice room and just sit there on the piano. And I was not very good, mind you, but I could just play around, and then whatever I'm feeling, I'd sort of say out loud and then try and make it rhyme. And sometimes it was good, sometimes it was shit. You just never know. And it was just kind of, that's where it came from.
I knew my stuff was shit. I think it's a bit more difficult to know if it's good. It's very easy to know if it's crap. You can tell. You can tell unless you're lying to yourself. So, what was life generally growing up in Hull? What's the family dynamic like? Siblings?
Oh, yeah, I'm one of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the baby.
That's the best position. I was the baby till my brother had kids, and then now they've taken everything. But yeah, I definitely understand. Best position. So you're the baby of 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they're half siblings, so they're all quite a bit older than me, and they all have kids and things like that. So I'm the baby, and my niece is actually 2 years younger than me. So she's kind of like my little sister, if you get what I mean. And my sister's like my weird auntie that drinks a lot. But yeah, so that's kind of the family situation. I do come from a very, very big family, so we're kind of all over the place. My sister right now is in Saudi Arabia.
Nice.
So we're spread out all over. Very, very wild. Very wild northern traditional family.
It's good. So do you come back and gather around like during Christmas or?
Oh yeah, we try to. Like we're mainly Christmas. We kind of take turns who's where. But like especially for like big birthdays, like my dad just turned 70. We all got
nice.
together in this little
The 7th
room.
floor.
Yeah, this little room in this little pub, and the drink's like £2, and we're all there like. Ooh.
Oh, I need to move to Hull, man.
It's great, yeah. If you want a good night out, it's cracking.
You know, sorry, I'm dry for now, but you know, I'll take you on that offer, even if you haven't offered. But yeah, we'll definitely go to Hull. Does anybody in the family sing?
No.
So you're Thailand, you're the first.
Yeah.
First of your kind. I like it.
Yeah. Well, my grandma apparently used to sing and play piano as well. I never met her, but maybe that's where I got the gene from. So maybe.
At least you've exercised the gene, which is the main part. So, Emily, teenager, going through 1 or 2 situations, mental health situations. Did music become that escape for you?
Oh, God, yeah. I think music's one of the things that, for a lot of people, it's easy to just like let go and just chill. And for me as well, it was sort of the only thing I ever really clicked with. Like, I'm a bit thick, I'm not very good at school stuff, and music was like the one thing I was like, oh, actually.
No, you just have a different. I've come to realize that nobody's thick. Well, some people are, but nobody's thick. You just have a different method of learning, and sometimes you don't get that method in school.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm going through because like
Okay.
you, I was thick. So I'm just giving that I'm giving
You're
that
not thick,
excuse.
you just have a different method of learning.
Thank you very much. You see, you've picked up. So music was your escape. What else did you used to do? The reason I'm asking is because you just had a natural. I'm assuming you had a natural draw towards music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't until the Post Malone show. You had no idea what you wanted to do, but you knew you could sing and write. So music. What else did you used to do apart from the music situation growing up in Hull?
It's really different to that kind of thing. I used to be a figure skater, and I did sort of pantomimes and competitions and things like that. And I remember my teacher actually quit a few years into competitions and things, and I thought, I don't really want to do this without her. And then that's when I started dancing, and then through the dance came everything else kind of thing. So that's how I kind of got into this, I guess.
The theatre route is like very cutthroat, like it's difficult. I used to think like the music situation was difficult, but theatre is like extra, and then you have to know how to sing, how to dance, and all that story. Who were your big, I don't know, inspirations at the time in the theatre and music world?
I think definitely in the theatre world, like I really love like the old school theatre shows, like Funny Girl. I love Barbra Streisand. Music wise, I love Whitney Houston, and I love the big, like Broadway vocals, especially the people that I remember. My dad told me once he saw like Whitney Houston in show, and you could hear a pin drop when she was singing.
That's exactly what's going to happen at your show on the 26th of Feb. The pin drop. You've seen me operate. I like tell people to keep quiet and so. Yeah, so pin drop moments. So Whitney Houston was one of them.
Yeah.
The thing, did anybody like push you towards it in terms of, so while you were writing music and you were trying to do other things, did anybody actually go, you can do this? Because I'm assuming, because the way your voice is, amazing voice, people, you hear it, buy a ticket, 26th of February. The way your voice is, were you trained in any way, or that's just natural?
No, I was not great when I was younger. I did a lot of training. I did, when I started the dance, I went to theatre school and I did singing lessons, and I kept up with that, and my voice, especially over the past few years, has changed drastically. But that's because I sing every day. Minimum half an hour a day. I do all the scales, as many hard songs as I can, and I try and perfect them as much as I can. But when I was younger, let's just say my family didn't encourage it because they're the ones who had to listen to all the shows I put on. And I don't think it was optional.
Well, it is. I mean, your family and your friends are always your biggest support in the beginning, the biggest critics. Sometimes they stay both. Sometimes they never. I think it's the lack of seeing, or it comes from a place of care. No, I don't know if this will work. Get a job and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So you decided music was the way forward. Did you start doing shows in Hull, or did you just pick up a bag and say, I'm moving to London?
Well, I kind of went, like I was in the stage school sort of route already. I went to a stage school, what's the word? They have like a Saturday school, but it's from one of the London schools. So they come down every Saturday and they teach all the kids. And they had one in Hull. And I went there, and sort of the older I got, the more I thought, oh, I want to do this. And I got into the place where some of the teachers were like, well, why don't you audition for the London school? And so I did. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of people along the way who told me, don't get your hopes up, this school's not for everybody. And I got in, and I only applied to one of them. So that's how I ended up in London, and I've not left since.
How did you... Was there any pressure on you, considering, talking about your history with mental health? Did you feel like this is make or break for me?
Oh, God, yeah. I don't know where I would be if I hadn't have moved to London and...
I mean, you'd be in Hull, but... Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I don't think I'd be in a good place within myself. I think moving away to here to try and actually pursue something, whether it happens or whether it doesn't, which hopefully it does, 26th of February.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go, people.
I think... this is something I need to do, and this is something I'm not going to give up doing. Even if I'm 60 and I'm still just making music and living life as a bartender full-time, I'm happy because I'm giving it a good go, do you know what I mean?
That's good. I have seen a few other clips that I've seen you in singing, of course, serenading the crowd, as I like to say, and giving that voice. So, we're on the journey, Korak. So, hopefully, we'll get to where you deem as success, which I will ask you what that looks like for you, but not now.
Okay.
We're going slowly. So we're building slowly. Music writing. So, now, are you one of those, are you of the opinion that as a singer, you have to write your own music, or to you, it's just, you could, because I've met some people that they don't write their own songs, but then they sing really well.
Yeah.
You write your own music. What else do you write about other than struggles and trying to uplift people?
I think a big part of my music is trying to say things that I think need to be said.
For example.
For example, the song that I haven't released yet that I'm going to be singing on the 26th of February.
Buy your tickets. Oh, I like it. Well, this is marketing. I like
I
it.
love it. It's all about, I actually wrote it during COVID, and it's all about sort of embracing your inner freak and not caring what people think and just being a bit weird and wonderful. And I think that's such an important thing, like especially with social media. It's so people telling us, oh, this is great, you should be doing this, you should look like this, you should act like this, and it's like, don't really give a fuck. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
It's all right. Feel free.
it's too late.
Express yourself. Express yourself. The thing with so expressing your inner freak, man. I don't know if that's a good advice for me. I'm not quite sure.
Comes with levels.
Because it comes
Yeah.
with levels. Why is it important why is it important? A lot of people that sing or people that have stuff to say, why is it important that, because sometimes I think one of the worst advice you can give anybody is be yourself, because some people's selves are terrible. But why is it important to you to be that authentic self? Do you feel that you have missed out in terms of what you went through, not being who you could have been?
Yeah, I think especially with anxiety, you hold yourself back quite a lot, and you sort of squish down little parts of you that you're afraid you'll get judged for and people won't like you and things like that. And I think growing up more and more, you realise how many other people have these thoughts. And I think if we all just did whatever we wanted, not only would life be more fun and weird, I think we'd all be a lot happier as well if we just didn't worry so much about everybody else and just worried about what we wanted to do and how we wanted to be and just exist.
Makes sense. It makes sense. With the you mentioned that you've kind of found a way to cope with the anxiety situation. So I have two questions on that part. So, do you have anxiety, or are you just anxious about certain moments?
I have anxiety, so I worry about what socks I'm going to wear in the morning. I worry about if I have breakfast, will this affect that? And I'm very much like every decision I make throughout the day, there's a reason I've made that decision. And I have to plan, like in my car, when I had a car, I'd have backup clothes, I'd have backup shoes, I'd have this just in case, I'd have this just in case. And I over-prepare all these things because I thought, if I didn't have this, the world would end.
So you were making up like different situations in your head and planning for it as you went along.
Exactly. Worst case scenario, what do you need? That's how I used to run my life, and it's really exhausting.
I mean, you make a very good soldier. I mean,
well, yeah, I'm
going to
ready,
war,
you know.
Yeah, so there'll be like different strategies. I can see it.
Exactly. I'm a bit of a wimp, though. I don't know if I'd be good in a
No,
fight.
it's all right.
But
Somebody has to be in the war room. It's all
Well,
right.
there you
They
go.
just send the soldiers out. It's all good. So that's question number one. Question number two is, how do you now cope with the overthoughts and trying to prepare for every situation?
I think I try and remind myself that it's okay not to be perfect, and that we are human, we're not robots. AI freaks me out. Please don't kill me, robots, when you take over. But it's true, like, the perfection in being a human is the fact that we're not perfect, we make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are good things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remind myself daily to not punish myself, and everything happens for a reason. You know, like, it's a bit deep, but you know those
Please
stories.
go as deep as you can.
You know those stories of like people who miss the train to work, and then 9/11 happened, and they weren't there because they missed the train to work.
Yep.
And it's those little decisions that everything happens for a reason. So now if I'm late for work, I'm like, well, maybe it's for a reason.
I mean, that's a good conversation to have with your manager. I was late because there's a reason.
Exactly.
I can see it. But so now you're learning not to sweat the small stuff, as
Exactly.
they say. You're just, learning to live. Does that affect you? I know music is, I don't want to call it your escape, but I don't believe you'll be anxious in terms of making music and performing. Does that affect your musicality in any way, shape, or form?
I think when I was younger, yes. I think I'd stress a lot. I remember doing like school assemblies and I'd throw up before I went on stage and stuff like that. And it was really intense.
That's like proper movie stuff. When your documentary comes out, it'll be cool.
I know it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really interesting.
Any clips? Any clips that we can watch though?
But I think now it's sort of like I'd rather, after years and years of not doing it because I was so afraid of making mistakes, I'd now come to the place where I'm like, if I make a mistake, I can just joke about it and move on. Like, do you know, I mean, you've seen in those videos of Adele and she messes up and she goes, oh, fuck, I better do that again. And she starts again.
Yep.
You know? And, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not at that level where I could stop a show and be like, right, we're doing that again.
I mean, you can.
But
I mean, what are people going to do? Like, get upset?
Right.
They're going to sit there. I mean, you can. Don't do it, though. But, I mean, you
Okay.
can. You definitely can.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't matter.
What would you say with your experience and trying to make it and trying to make music your number one thing? What would you say has been like the biggest difficulty you've had to go through?
I'd say the biggest difficulty is probably like when you try and first push in getting people to know you who aren't just family and friends. Because there's a lot of people that even now who I know listen to my music and stuff, but it's because they know me, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas it's breaking into the broader people of finding people who listen to my music and think, oh, this hits me, you know? I want to be able to affect people who I never meet and never will meet, you know? It's trying to break out of the little family and friends crowd. And
Oh, yeah, that's, I call it, the family and friends are level 1 and 2. So level 1 is you're going to put on a show. Your friends and family, oh my God, I'm going to come because they want to support you. And in their head, if I come for this show, they're supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the level 2 where, okay, I came for the first one, but then would I come back for a second one? Now, level 2 actually lets you know what people actually think of you as a person. Because some people will not listen to your music because they're like, it's Emily, she's been singing since we were 12.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. So level 2, they might come. Then level 3 is breaking out and going, okay, you know what? My family and friends will support me all this way. Who can I actually... And most people, unfortunately, never get to level 3.
Yeah.
And this is not just music. This is like music, events, podcast, whatever. And, I mean, typical examples. It's like the guys in this room. They don't even want to come for any of my shows. Not calling anybody's name. Henry.
26th of February,
Yeah,
guys.
26th of February. But yeah, it's level 3. And I believe music is like the biggest industry that is actually saturated with talent. Everybody in there is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it, and of course not to make you anxious or anything, what makes you think that I can actually climb these levels?
Honestly, I'm trying not to put too much pressure onto the if I can do it. I'm just
When I do it.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nike.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, I'll release more music until it does. It's something that, it's one of those things that I can't control, and I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and hopefully people like it, I guess. And if they don't like it, well, I like it, so...
And that's what is important. That's
Yeah.
what is important. If you're looking in an ideal world, you could plan how life is going to be. You become big, famous, invite me for all the after parties and events, please, and all that stuff. Ideally, in a vision board, how would you want things to happen? What would be your journey?
I think...
Obviously, so you perform a Korak, become big, woo! But
course.
then from there, what happens?
I think definitely releasing like my first like album, you know, like with like a bit of bulk to it, not just a single. Making videos and things like that, and then slowly doing concerts and things like that. And I'd love to perform live for people and really connect with people in the room. But for me, the goal is sort of famous, great if it happens, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not too worried about it. I think my main goal is I want to be able to live off music, you know? I just want to pay my rent, be able to go for a drink once a week. I'm not actually an alcoholic, by the way.
It's all right. It's fine. It's okay.
And I think I just want to... My main goal is to make music and be happy about it, I think.
You seem like you have this, correct me if I'm wrong, you seem like you have this, you like to be in service of others. You like to help people. You want to sing a song and see somebody smile. Why is that so important for you?
I think the same with a lot of people who are very empathetic.
Yes, that's the word.
That one. Those
Mhm.
people. I think because, not due to fault of anybody else, but because of how crap you can feel sometimes, it's kind of like you don't want other people, particularly loved ones, but generally other people, to feel like that because you know how crap it could feel. And I think even now, like if I see someone upset in my day-to-day work and things like that, and I know a lot of people who are like this as well, that it kind of brings you down, you know? Like, if you were sad right now, I would also be sad. And I would want to bring you up.
I'm always good. Don't worry about me. I'm always good. I'm that guy. Always happy. Always happy. I think it's a choice. You pick if you want to be happy, you want to be sad. Loads of people pick the sad part. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always happy. So don't worry. No need to lift me up.
Okay.
Besides, there's whiskey and rum and all that good stuff that can help us. So we're all good. So, oh yeah, I like it. I like it. So it is with what is the biggest message from your music?
It's okay not to be perfect. And it's okay to feel sad sometimes, and there's no shame in that. We're allowed to not be happy 24/7, and we don't have to feel shame around that either. Like, if you want to have a good cry, have a good cry. It's great for your skin. Do you know what I mean?
Is it?
It is. Apparently, crying's really good for your skin.
That's probably what the problem is. So you need to. I used to think it was like cocoa butter and buy your oil and stuff. So crying.
Yeah, you just need to cry on your hands, give it a rub. No, I'm joking. But yeah, it's just one of those things, and it makes you feel better. You cry because you're sad, but after the cry, you feel slightly less sad. I don't think there should be any shame around it, and I feel like even now there still is a lot of shame around it, and I think that's really sad.
Do you know how you say you used to write music? You've always been writing music, and you mentioned about writing about boys and stuff. Are you still writing about boys?
Not as much, to be honest with you. I'm trying to sort of focus more inward. I have a partner and I love him very, very much.
You write about him?
Pardon?
You write about him?
Um,
Not yet.
Not really. I mean, I've got like little things and stuff, but I think a big thing now, particularly, is I want to make music that has this impact on that particular subject of people, like the no shame and things like that. And I think one day I will write some love songs and some other things like that. But I think, especially to start out, I want to have my heart on my sleeve. I want to be an open book and just really say the things that make me anxious and say the things that is uncomfortable, because I think that's a good way to be open, especially with music. And that's sort of the message I want to give to start off with.
It's all right. It's okay. They have insurance. You're good. What would you change in the music industry if you could right now?
I don't know if this is like a thing you could change. I think.
Well, okay, not change. What would you add? What do you think is missing?
What is missing, I think, is a little bit of self-love. I think, especially with social media and the media in general, I think, especially for people who are already at the level of Post Malone and things like that, it's kind of like, I feel like every tiny thing that they do is getting broadcasted for the world to judge. And I think people forget that they are also just humans. I'm just going to break the studio, I think, at this point.
Yeah, so please try not to. There's expensive stuff around.
Okay. But yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on people who are doing really well. But I think people forget the reason they're doing so well is because they're saying things people want to listen to. And I mean, I'm not being funny. We've all made really dumb mistakes because we're just lucky that it's not been broadcasted to the whole world. And I think there needs to be a little bit more leniency towards the creative people, because we're creative for a reason. We're going to be nutters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You need to find a way to actually put it out. If not, to put all that or to hone all that in you is terrible. Especially for at least for those of you that are talented. I mean, not everybody's talented. I'm fine. Don't need to write. This is the part that we go into. So you have a song that's released, which is called Broken.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're an advocate for mental health and people understanding that everything is okay and, you don't have to. So this is what we call it a deep dive into the section of the podcast, understanding the lyrics, because
Okay.
want you to explain yourself. It's one thing to listen to it and understand it, but then, to actually have you explain it. So, first of all, people, Emily Olssen, Spotify, Broken, classic song. But, so it starts off with saying, and forgive me because in case I get the words wrong, correct
Don't
me.
worry.
Yeah. So, fingers running through my hair,
Mm-hmm.
voices messing with my brain. I don't know what's going on, but it's driving me insane. Shadows on the corridor, homemade river on my floor. It don't matter what I do. I am broken, I am empty, and I am begging for someone to help me because I'm fighting something I can't see. It's just me against me.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I don't believe you wrote the song when you were 15. This is way too smart for a 15-year-old. So break that down for me. You felt, is it every time you went through the situation you were going through, you felt broken and you felt empty?
I think it was specifically the first part of this song is sort of how you feel when you're having a panic attack. And it's sort of something I found easy to write because something I was having quite a lot as a young girl. And it's particularly the chorus, that is how a lot of people feel, And again, that's something that I felt completely alone with until I was older and I met more people like me, or more people that were willing to share that side of themselves with me. And the broken and the empty, I think that is something that when you go really deep down the rabbit hole, that's where you find yourself sitting. And obviously sometimes it can get worse than that. Luckily for me, I never got to that extent of it. But I think having somebody else say it and having somebody else feel those feelings, it can already make you feel slightly less alone in them. So when I met people who were like, this is exactly how I feel, or telling me about their stories, and I was like, oh, actually, I feel like that sometimes, and it's really nice to know that you feel like that sometimes. And I think the reason for me saying these words, even though it can hit really deep, is because sometimes it's easier once somebody else has said them first. That's sort of the reason for this first part of Broken.
So, I mean, when you say it's, I'm fighting something that I can't see, it's just me against me, what is this fight like?
Do you know, have you ever seen Kronk's New Groove?
No, I haven't, no.
Well, it's a cartoon, and it's great. Would recommend. And it's like this guy, and he's a chef, and he's got these two little people sitting on his shoulders. You got the little angel, and you got the little devil.
I have two devils, but yeah, I definitely understand, yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. But it's kind of like arguing with a tiny little version of yourself that wants everything to go badly. And they're telling you how bad everything's going to be and what the worst possible case scenario is for wearing the wrong socks, for doing the wrong hairstyle, for washing your hair on the wrong day. And it's literally having that conversation and trying to tell this person to F off, because that's not going to happen, or even if it did happen, that would be okay. But sometimes it's hard to fight that voice. So the fighting with yourself is literally like talking to a little tiny version of you that hates you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on with breathe in, breathe out. Don't listen to what they are talking about. Head down, don't swim or you drown. You can do it. Don't dare make a sound. Then it goes on to, I am broken, I am empty. I'm begging for someone to help me because I'm fighting something that they can't see. Mm-hmm. It's everyone against me. I'm assuming, and it goes all against me because I am broken, because I'm empty. So eventually you stop fighting against yourself because people don't see what you're going through or they don't understand it. So when you start fighting, because you have to start explaining yourself and trying to... How does that actually feel?
Feels really crap. Especially when you're in sort of that place of depression and anxiety and you feel really down within yourself. It's really easy to then become that friend that nobody wants to speak to and things like that because they bring the vibe down. Because especially at a young age, it's hard to crawl out of that hole. And sometimes it makes you not want to go out, not want to see your friends. You sit at home, you don't want to do anything. And then it does come to a point where you feel like everybody hates you because you're down all the time. And it feels like everybody hates you, you know? Logically, we know it's not true. Sometimes it can feel a lot like it is. but they just don't know what's wrong and they don't know how to help you, which is a valid response.
Which one is worse? Them not knowing what to say and they start being, I don't know, funny or weird around you, or the people that go, just get on with it, here's a pint. Which one is worse?
I would say the people that don't know how to be around you, to be honest, because it is, of course, it's justified. Like, they're protecting their peace at the end of the day. But the people that sort of like, come on, let's go out. It's getting you out of the house. You're distracting. It's distracting. And the people that are happy to sit with you when you're in that place as well, it just takes that extra mile where it's like, oh, maybe these people don't hate me. And it kind of helps bring you out of the hole a little bit or gives you a little ladder. And I think that even sometimes when you're in that dark place, to have your mate or your bestie be like, come on, we're going out. I look like shit. I don't care. Let's go. It's like, it really does just make the difference of I'm alone to I'm alone with this knobhead. Do you know what I mean?
When does the fighting everyone stop? Does that stop after you stop fighting yourself? Or do you stop fighting everyone else, then stop fighting yourself? Or does it just work hand in hand?
I think it just works hand in hand. The more you feel less alone, the more it's like you can kind of accept what's happening, and the more people you meet that have these same things, you're like, this is normal, this is okay, and it's just something you have to work through.
My mind scares me. There's just one thing you can't see. You are not broken, you are not empty, you're just human, kind of like me. You're fighting something I can see, and there's more people like me. See, that's a teardrop moment right there. That's like so that was you telling people it's okay to feel. Do you think it is possible to actually get to a point where you can totally eradicate the feeling of being anxious and overthought?
No.
You don't think so?
I think for a lot of people that's just a part of life. I think there's ways to deal with it, and I think there's ways to make it less scary, but it doesn't just disappear. You're always going to have that flicker, you know? But you become a lot stronger and you find people and you find ways to cope with that. I mean, maybe it is possible. I haven't found it yet. Fingers crossed. But I think the goal is not to get rid of it completely. The goal is to be able to accept it and to move on from it. You know, like you've got that little tiny horrible person in your brain and you're like, I won't go for a drink with you anyways. Do you know what I mean? So you just kind of accept it and not dwell on it.
Well, it's a classic song, Broken People. Please listen to it, or come listen to it live, 26th of February, Korak Live Music Event. Well, it's been, I think your music is amazing. You're an amazing person.
Thank you.
I can just tell these things. I'm wrong maybe 1 in 50 times. And right now I'm on like 47, so you're good. There's no,
Okay.
maybe the next 3. There's somebody has to be terrible. Would you say, who would you love to actually feature on a song? Like Post Malone, who would be your ideal, I want to sing with somebody?
Oh, well, it feels really weird from everything we've just spoken about, but I think Bruno Mars is the collab king. I don't think he's ever done a bad collab with anybody, and his vibes are just amazing. Yeah.
Bruno Mars, man. Yeah, if it's, I think he just released an album, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Emily, it's been amazing. It's good to get to know the lady behind the wonderful music. One of the questions I like to ask, so when I messaged you and said, oh, hi, my name is blah, blah, would you like to do Korak? What did that feel like? Because I never know what it's like to be on the other side of the, oh, hi, because I'm the one that sends the message. What did it, break it down. How did you go like, who's this creep?
Well, honestly, originally, yeah, I was like, is this a scam? Because especially it was my first ever song, so you don't expect anything from it, you know? And then I got this message from you, and I was like, is it shady or is it not shady? And then we spoke obviously on the
video call,
yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, seems less shady, but not completely unshady.
No, I'm all right. You need to have a bit of shade.
Exactly.
You need to have a bit of shade.
And then when he was like, do you want to come and watch a show and you can bring someone? I was like, okay, I can bring someone. He's not going to murder me in the van.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm ordering you somewhere else. London is too many of us killers.
Exactly.
But it's good. Happy that you responded. Now we're here. Getting to know who you are. You're going to perform live on the 26th of Feb. So it should be a good show. People buy your tickets. Come and see this greatness as it unfolds. and it should be a wonderful, wonderful night.
Yeah, and if we haven't said 26th of Feb.
February. Just in case you haven't heard it, in case you haven't, you're going to hear it now. We end with a tradition, and I'm creating a playlist for everybody, every guest.
Mm-hmm.
And you can add your music if you want, but what would be that one song you want to add to the Korak playlist?
Ooh. It's really a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's all right.
You know when someone's like, what's your favourite song? And you forget every song you've ever heard in your entire life.
your mind just goes
Happy
blank.
Birthday, is that a song?
Who's like, Happy Birthday? Well, I mean, you could go, if that's your choice.
I would say something a bit upbeat, something a bit, again, really random. I'd say maybe like Christina Aguilera, Tough Lover. Something a little bit jazzy and a little bit upbeat, makes you feel good. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Tough Lover, Christina Aguilera. That will be added to the playlist, ladies and gentlemen. But till then, thank you very much, Emily. It's been amazing getting to know you. And we should get to know you even more. And as your footsteps continue to grow, we'll be there with you every step. Last question.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What is your idea of success? What would you sit down, drink that tea or coffee in the morning, look outside your balcony and go, I've done it. What would that be? What would that moment be?
Not worrying about financial situation and being happy. Like not having to worry about money and just being able to be happy within yourself.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to Kariba Coffee, our ambassadors for the Korak Podcast. Please get 20% off if you use the code MORETHINGS. Big shout out to Podcast Rooms, of course, hosting us. And of course, Emily didn't break the place, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
And of course, the one and only Emily Olssen. Thank you for being on the Korak. And come see her 26th of February, people. Tickets are available. Buy that, bring a friend of 300. I'm MC Sabi Boy. More things.